Hello and welcome to Gijo Speaks. As you can see, I'm in a hotel room, just traveling, not holidaying. But I thought that I'll still create this video. This is about data interpretation and logical reasoning. Now, a couple of things. There were a lot of requests that was posted in the comment box asking me to do a video on data interpretation and logical reasoning. Then I felt that there are a lot many things to talk about data interpretation and logical reasoning or DILR. I mean, I could talk about, for example, how to prepare for DILR, what are the kind of questions that you can expect in DILR, or maybe how do you strategize a section called DILR, how do you do analysis of DILR. So there are a whole lot of sort of things I could do, but I thought that there is one thing that is overlooked a lot, which is simply the process of solving a DILR set. I mean, you commit on to a set in whichever test that you're taking, then somehow you never reach the end, or somewhere you get confused. So, which means there is some process breakdown that is happening. And if I can sort of capture the process of DILR or solving DILR, and then help you understand what could be the possible breakdown of that particular process that is causing problem to you, then I believe it will be of help to you. Now, this is a second attempt of me recording this particular video, because in the first attempt it actually went for 1.5 hours. Then I stopped recording. Like 1.5 hours, who's going to sit and watch 1.5 hours of session? Because in that particular recording I also picked up one question DLR said to explain this process. So what I'll do is probably I'll do it in parts. I'll probably have a series of lessons on DLR, starting with this one, which I'm going to talk about the DLR process. And sorry about the lighting, other things. This is the best that I could do. Okay. Okay. DLR process. Process. Now, these are the two things that I want to talk about in this particular video. Number one is to talk about the structured process of solving DLR. There has to be a process. For some of you, this process happens automatically, especially when you're solving something that is familiar to you. You know what's the next step, you know what's the next step, you don't have what you have to do. But if the set is unfamiliar, then we are lost. So we talk about structured process. And the second is about the problems that happens, that is because the breakdown that happens in the process. So these are the two things I want to talk about. Now, when I look at the DILR section of the CAT, this is the CAT 2022 story. This is a scale score, by the way, of 2022 divided by 3 number of net questions. So what you are given 4 sets. At least last year you were given 4 sets, which had got 5 questions each. Now, if I were to look at this scenario, which is you're sort of crossing the 99 percentile and getting whatever higher percentile, that means that you're able to solve net 10 question correct, net 11 question correct, which means chances are that out of the 4 sets, now each sets carry each set of five questions, and the 4 sets, the chances are in this particular case you are doing 3 sets. So those who were able to do 3 sets and get a reasonable amount of accuracy in those 3 sets with respect to the question that you're solving, then you start hitting pretty high percentile. Then there are these 2 sets game. I'm going to pick probably here with respect to the 2 sets. This 2 sets game is actually happening from 90 to sort of 99 percentile story. So where you're solving 2 sets, or you're saying 1 set and solving it absolutely completely, which sometimes it happens, most of the time does happen. But it's solving about 2 sets, and depending upon the accuracy level, you're stuck somewhere. And then the rest of the complete story till about 50th percentile is a 1 set story. And that can change. So solving 1 more set, changes the game completely. So if you're someone, you've got 40 minutes. If you're someone who can solve all the 4 sets in the 40 minutes, which means you are spending close to 10 minutes per set. Okay, possible, manageable, I think. For some of you, yes, but you'll have to obviously navigate all the difficult sets as well. And there is 3 sets, which means that probably you're spending about 13 minutes per set. And if you're doing 2 sets, that means you're spending 20 minutes per set. And if you're doing is 1 set, you're spending 40 minutes for that 1 set. I am guessing that most of you is likely going to be here. You're hoping that you will solve 2 sets. You have got 10 questions. Maybe you'll get 8, 9 questions correct, and then you get this chance. Or if you get every single question correct, you'll get high percentile. And here there might be some of you are in 3 sets. The difference between going from 3 set to 4 set is just about doing 3 minutes less per set by giving extra time for the 4th set. It can happen, need not happen. Essentially, I think the attitude of those people who are doing 3 sets is very similar to the attitude of those people who are doing 4 sets. You're basically saying that, look, I'm going to practically solve everything. Irrespective of wherever you are, one thing that happens is that when you commit to a set, and you decide to solve a particular set based on whatever is the logic. Maybe it's familiar to you, it looks easy. And when you commit to the set, you have to get past those 5 questions and get those marks out. But then the process breaks down. The process breaks down. And one other thing that you see is that if I look at the CAT 2022 type of questions, so some of these are my names, okay. Categorical reasoning, these are names that I've used. Okay, longitudinal data analysis, it's all basically the point is, okay, I don't want to sit and explain what each of these means. The point is you get any kind of reasoning from number theory to sequencing to network optimization to concept of game theory and categorical reasoning to optimization, anything can happen. And obviously you're preparing for this DILR section, doing as much as you can, looking for familiarity, right? That is what you're looking at. I want to be familiar. I want to know how to solve a particular kind of question. I want to know how to solve set theory, 3 set theory, 4 set, maybe 5 set. I want to know how to solve this kind of a graph. I want to know how to solve, let's say, these kind of arrangement question. I want to know how to solve this. That's how we are making ourselves familiar. But what is going to happen in the examination, you're thrown with things that probably you're seeing for the first time, or some version of it, or even probably in the mock test. Every single time you're taking the mock test, you're looking at the DILR set, you're going, what is this? But the point is that every single DILR set that is created by the CAT, or every single DILR set in the CAT, is something that can be solved. Maybe in 10 minutes, maybe in 12 minutes, but it's possible to solve it. The question is, create a systematic possible to solve it. So which means you when you commit to a particular set, you can actually solve this. So the focus, I believe, is to look at, when you do any sort of analysis of the DILR set that you've done, then what you want to do is look at the process. So let's look at the process. Okay, I've got simple process. The process I'm going to call DILR process only. The reason why I've given this name DILR is simply because that you will remember it. Okay, that's all. First is decipher, identify, layout, and resolve. 4 steps. And when you're solving a DILR set, once you've solved the DILR set, when you're sitting and analyzing what you did, look at where was the issue. Okay, let's start with decipher. What does decipher mean? The information is given to you, right? So you've got information given to you. Information can be given to you in the form of text or in some form of data or combination of both. My first step is simply the step of comprehension. I should understand what is given to me. Half the time, what happens is that we just don't understand it. The problem that we are having with reading comprehension is the same problem that we're having with here. And why is the breakdown happening? Why is the process breakdown happening? Let me write it in red. Process breakdown happens. In this case, the process breakdown happened, which means we are obsessed with doing things fast. We are just obsession with doing things fast. Speed. We are obsessed with speed. And when we're obsessed with speed, we implement the speed in the most crucial step, which is understanding. I mean, you have to read at a pace of your comprehension. In fact, there might be, in this case, there might be some key, sort of key information. Sometimes you probably would want to read a couple of sentences twice just to understand the key information that is there. So the first step is decipher. Now, the last last DILR set that you solved, or maybe let's say the last mock that you solved, look at this stage of deciphering. What star will you give? Will you give it 1 star, or will you give it 5 star or 4 star? Think about how many stars you want to give in each of these steps. Where are you? And also put in the comment box in terms of your star. The D step, how many star? I step, how many star? L step, what is your star? And R step, what is your star? 3 star, 2 star, 5 star, or 5 star is amazing. Okay. So decipher. Okay, that is step number one. Once I've deciphered, then I have to look at what should I do next? Or in the sense, how do I proceed? Now, the information is given. Information is given to solve a particular set of questions. And I need to process this information in such a manner that I can arrive at answer to this question. Now, there is a collection of questions that is given to me, which is 5 questions. I'm processing this information to answer these individual questions. Okay, is there anything that I can figure out which is common way of processing this information based on the information that I get from the question? Is there anything, can the question tell me, is there a way, what is critical for me to look at? Now, if it were reading comprehension, I would have said, don't do this. So read the passage, go to the question. You don't have to check the question first. But when it comes to the DILR, I believe that looking at the question and understanding the question is also very, very crucial. Sometimes question also gives some clues, additional data. There could be some jugards there. That will be some of the day in terms of how we can use sort of questions to add more things. But questions is also a part of information that you have. It is what question tells you. How do I move? What typically happens is when something is very familiar to you, right? So let's say this is like a grouping, 5 people, 5 different location, 5 different jobs. So you immediately know, what kind of question is going to come. So you anticipate the question because you're familiar with it, right? Okay, who is doing this, who is doing that. So you start with the set because you assume that, okay, these are the 5 questions. I have seen this. I'm familiar with the kind of questions. What else can they ask? Because I'm familiar with this. But in the CAT, what normally happens, I'm given a set. And when I look at the set, I don't know what the set is. I've seen the set for the first time. So therefore, after I've deciphered it, it is important to identify. The breakdown happens when you ignore questions. That is when the process breakdown happens here. In fact, question is also a part of the information because the question is asking you exactly what to do. Imagine, for example, you're doing quant. In quant, the information is given, and right next to the information, you have got a question that is given. The question and the information regarding the question is given side by side. When you solve QA, you not only read the information, you also read the question. Right. So for example, Python, there's a right angle triangle, one side is 3, another side is 4. Okay, that's information. What is a hypotenuse? So now, okay, I read the question and I work back. And sometimes that is a problem solving skill, which means here again, I have to look at the question. Right. Number 3 is, okay, information is on the screen. Right. And you have a rough pad that is given to you. You tell me, what is the use of the rough pad when it comes to DILR? My gut feeling is that for rough pad is rough work, rough, and literally, figuratively, metaphorically, we treat it like a rough work. If I were to ask you, show me the last DLR set that you did, show me your working, your rough working. When I look at you, you will not understand what you did. People just scribble. Oh, information is given on the screen. Don't you want to capture the information in a nice manner, organize the information in a nice manner on that paper? Or is it what you're going to do? No, what you do? This is a screen. I've got a paper here. This is a screen. I've got a paper here. This is how I solve DLR. What is this? You have to, I think this is this you have to develop. I think the way in which you develop, you have to start sort of small, the standard kind of DLR sets, looking at the information, and present the information in a nice manner, right? In a neat sort of manner, writing down the key information onto the paper, and then neatly proceeding with it, systematically proceeding with it. The first thing is that it is not neat. You scribble when this is when your surrounding is so up, what is it, cluttered. Your mind is also going to be cluttered. You just scribble things down. You're not. So if you capture this, you've got an amazing style of organizing the information on the paper in an amazing manner. I'm not saying amazing manner, in a systematic, neat manner. That will change the way in which you're looking at the set. You'll be a little more confident about the set. Things will be much more clearer. And then other thing is that we blind copy. The information is given in a particular fashion. We blindly copy the information. No, you have to organize information that helps you arrive at the answer. Right? I have written, what should I do? I have to arrive at the answer. So I have to write the information. Don't blindly copy. Just because the table is given in one particular format, I don't blindly copy. If for example, if that table already that is given makes sense, I just want to copy it down, then I'll do that. But I want, as much as possible, have critical information on the piece of paper. And that allows me to solve it like this. I'm just looking at the question once, I'm solving, not like this. Sometimes we put finger and all in the laptop. I want to touch this. Okay. So we have deciphered, we have identified, we have created layout, and the step is resolved, which means using reasoning. And this is a step, which means what I've done so far. Information is given to me. There are questions, 5 questions. Check mark number 1, I understood the information. Decipher happened. I looked at the questions and understood what kind of thing is needed. Okay, great. I identified what I probably will have to do. Maybe I identified even saying that, okay, 3 questions I can know. I am not too sure about the last 2 questions, but let me at least solve the 3 first and then figure out how to do the last 2. Okay, but at least I've identified what I have to do. Then I capture the information on my paper. I've created the layout. Okay, gather the information properly. I just gathering the information in neat manner. Should I now jump to the question? You would say yes, but I believe a step that can change a way in which you solve DLR is a step which is a resolve step or a reasoning stage or a deduction stage, which means you are just looking at the data once and engaging with the data for a bit, seeing that gathering, is there any more deduction that I can do? Maybe there is a sequencing that I have to do with 4 items. And there are a lot of data that is given to me. Let's say A, B, C, D item is mentioned. You simply look at the data and go, okay, I can see a lot of constraints, which is what the game is, right? Constraints, a lot of constraints are there. I look at the constraint and I know that C or D cannot be in position number 1. And this sort of engagement with this helps in 2 ways. Number 1, obviously, is going to help you when you read the question, because every question is forcing you to do specific resolution, right, for every single question. But there could be some common resolution I could do, so that helps. Second of all, it kind of makes you more familiar with the information that you have, familiar with the set that you have. You're a little more confident. I'm working. I'm just not jumping at the question. I'm putting my mind to it and then answering this. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a step. D, decipher. Okay, understanding information, identify, knowing what to do once after I've understood, layout, organizing the information properly, resolve, making the right kind of decision, deductions. Now you tell me, in the last test that you've taken, put in the comment box what star you'll give for each step. A D, what star? Range 1 to 5. Put a number. Okay, 5 means 5 star. Okay, my decipher is 5, my identification is, let's say, 4, but layout is a problem. L is 3 and R is 4. Whatever, just put and show me, and then I will create more number of videos. Therefore, this itself took a lot of time. Imagine on top of it, I actually picked up one CAT 2022 DLR set and solved it went for 1 hour. So that I will do it separately. I hope this particular session made some sense, but we'll do more. And if you have any specific question, please shoot in the comment box. I will answer them. See you and bye.